Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Red Alert Lab. This is the video number 20. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been now for about 3 videos discussing the issue of securing your Windows 10. Okay, so there is a couple of non-profitable organizations, something like the Department of Defense and the Defense Information System Agency of the United States. They have issued or they have published a couple of PDFs or recommendations for securing your Windows 10. We have been discussing these recommendations and implementing them for about 3 videos. This is the video number 4, so we will continue from where we have stopped the last time. Let's see here. The last recommendation that we have stopped in is to audit your file share, especially the success access to your file share. This policy or this recommendation is to audit any access to any shared folder or locally on your Windows 10 machine. So there is files that are shared on your file server. This should be done or should be audited from the file server itself, and there is some folders that you can share on your Windows 10 machine locally. Also this should be monitored and audited. So we need to we need to audit the local shares on your workstation or Windows 10 workstations in all of your domain, especially the success access to the shared folders and the failure, as we will see in a couple of seconds. So we need to do this to activate the option in the local policy of the Windows 10 machine, which is to audit or open the group policy of audit and audit object access, then file share, and then the success option. So let's see how this will be done. We have already done this before in the previous video, the success. Then we need to do the failure. Anyway, sorry, we will not do the failure. We will only audit the success access to file share. You can audit both the failure and success, but we as the recommendation says, we will only audit the success. Okay, now we go to another thing is to audit other object access events. What are the other object access events? Something or events like task, scheduler, jobs, and COM+ objects. Sometimes you have some you need to do something automatically on the machine or the Windows 10. For example, you need to shut down the machine at a certain time, or you need to clean the hard disk from temporary files and unnecessary files. All this you need to do it automatically. So this can be done using the task scheduler in Windows. Okay, so these kind of events or this kind of things that happen are recorded in the event viewer. So we need to open an object, to open a group policy to audit these kind of events. So we need these events to be monitored and to be recorded in the event viewer. So let's see first, or to have a small description about what are the audit object access, other object access events, so especially the successful one of them. So if these events are successful, it will be recorded, but if they are not successful, they will not be recorded. So let's see a description about object other access. So this is a website that's called the Windows Security Log, okay, or Ultimate Windows Security Log. This is a website that discuss the different login events or the different event viewer logs and events, and they discuss them in detail. So let's go to object access, and then let's see some description about the subcategories of them. Let's see if there is object access auditing, and then we can go to the subcategories. So for example, object based operation, no, let's go further, file system, and then we can go registry, no certifications, okay, application generated, file share, and object access other event or other object access event. These are miscellaneous object access event. The most valuable events in this category are the ones that allow you to monitor changes to scheduled tasks and file deletion. Okay, so he's saying here that auditing or opening the option to audit other object access events, these are related to scheduled tasks as I have said before, and to file deletion. And some of these events are, for example, a handle to an object was requested, a handle to an object was closed, an object was deleted. I think this is referring to a deleting of an object or file. For example, a scheduled task was created, so if someone has created a task to do something on the Windows, automatically this will be recorded under the event of 4698. A scheduled task was deleted, a scheduled task was enabled, system card was disabled. So a task enabled, it was disabled and you want to enable it, or it was disabled or it was updated. So this is one of the things you need to audit the scheduled task done on the machine. So for example, a hacker could hack the machine and do a scheduled task to run the malware in a certain time, or to do something to harm your PC. So you need to have something like this to be monitored. Okay, so we will have the success, okay, access to the schedule task or the task scheduler, and the successful access to the jobs and something like this. So we need to do the failure, I think, but let's wait and see. Maybe he is also will audit the failure events. So we can go furthermore. We'll go furthermore and see if we can audit something more. So here we can enable the group policy to enable auditing of other object access events. So we'll go here and see, we'll go to the object access, and then we'll go to other object access events. Okay, and we will open the success, or we monitor the success, and then we will monitor the failure as well. So the success other objects events, and the failure other object events. Okay, so we'll do both, and you can see the explanation if we need to have more or to know more about these kind of things. Here we can see that object access removable storage failures. Okay, here you will audit the events related to removable media, such as USB or something. So here we say that object access, or audit object access for removable media records events related to access attempts on file system objects or removable storage device. So this means he will record any access to any files on a removable storage devices. So this is very good if you need to know that someone has inserted a flash and he is accessing some files on the flash. This will be recorded, and here he will have the failure events. So if someone has for example added or inserted a USB and he failed to access this USB and the files on it, this will be recorded. And this is a very good thing also to know if there is any user trying to insert anything in his PC in certain times, to know if there is something suspicious or not. So this is also one of the good things. So let's continue. So you can see that this will be related to, if we go also to the website, let's see how he is doing this, or audit object access. Let's go and see how he is doing this, or Azure Object Access. Let's go, or we go and furthermore object access. I think he is here related to kernel object. No, I think he is saying here about the object access file system. I think here, not just a moment. So here there is subcategories. So if you go furthermore, object access event, I think this is related to the object access event. So here we have something like, here is saying that he will access or related to removable. Let's see where this it's in object access removable storage. Let's see where this option resides, so we can see the description about it. It's audit removable storage, so it is in the yes, in the object access. So I think we can go and see the description here. So object, this is our object access subcategories: file, share, platform. Okay, object other access. Let's see if we can see the subcategories of the object other access. We can go further. Object other access, we can go furthermore, object other access. So here we can see that object other access, we need to go and see furthermore details about this kind of access. I think he is not saying here anything about this kind of things, so I think he is going to anyway, he is discussing in details everything related to this kind of things anyway. So we will go and continue working. So here we continue working with this. So this is all object access failure. Removable storage, so we will record the successful access to a removable storage and its files, and the failure access to removable storage and its files. So we will do this both success and failure, and then we will continue something called audit policy change. What is the auditing policy change? It will record events relating to changing in audited policy So if we need to monitor some events in the Windows, we need to open the audit option. Okay, so here the audit policy change, it records the event related to open or close the audit option. Okay, so this is audit the audit. Okay, so this is something like if I open the audit policy to monitor some events in the Windows, okay, if someone try to close this audit policy, it will be recorded. So this is what we mean by audit policy change, records events related to changes in audit policy. Okay, so this is one of the things. And if we go and try to see the audit change here, let's see, it is in directory service policy change. So let's see what he is talking about here. So policy change provides notification of changes to important security policies on the local system, such as system audit policy, or in case of DC's trust relationships. Okay, so here he will audit the changes to security policies on the local system, just a system audit policy. Okay, so he monitors the audit policy, or the open or close or enable or disable or change in the audit policy, and in some cases it monitors the trust relationships between domains. Okay, if it's on a domain controller. Okay, and here he is discussing what this kind of options say. So audit policy change, this is the one that you are configuring, policies that affect what gets reported, and miscellaneous policies. Okay, okay, anyway, so for example, audit policy change, let's see some of the events here. He is saying that the audit policy on an object was changed. So if you have open an audit option on a certain file, for example, to monitor it or to monitor the events on it, here he will record any change to this audit policy. It was changed. Okay, system audit policy was changed, the pre-user audit policy table was changed, a policy related to the user or to audit the user, and the policy related to audit the system, and the policy related to audit the object. Sometimes if we need to monitor a certain access to a certain file on a certain file shared on a file server, we need to activate the audit option. So all of these are recorded. Okay, an attempt was made to register a security event. Anyway, I think this is not related. The crash audit failure value was changed, audit setting on an object was changed. Okay, pre-user audit was changed. So these are all related to the events related to enabling or disabling or updating the audit policy. Okay, so we need to audit the success change to the audit policy. Okay, so it's audit the audit. It's a very odd way, but it is auditing the audit. Okay, audit option. So we will do this for the success. Okay, we will need to go to the audit. Here it's here in the policy change. okay, and then audit policy change. So it's saying it's audit policy change. So here it is, audit policy change, and then we'll audit the success. I think also we will audit the failure. So here audit the success, no, only audit the success, and then authentication policy changes. These will record events related to changes in authentication policy, including Kerberos policy and trust change. Let's see further more description about this event. So what's he saying? Authentication policy login right assignment. So here he's saying authentication policy change, login rights assignment. So it's talking about the rights for the login or login rights assignments for the users, okay, or login rights for the users, okay. I think let me have more description about this kind of thing, okay. Authentication policy change. The authentication policy change events track any configuration changes that would affect how user accounts are authenticated, and when password and logout policies are conceptually missing, okay. So here is talking about monitoring the user accounts and how they are authenticated to the domain, okay. Authentication here means it is verified and allowed to access the domain, okay. So this is, he will monitor how the user is authenticated to the domain and access the machine. So for example, let's see some of the events here. For example, just a moment. So here, for example, let's say that one of the events, a trust to the domain was removed. This indicates that the machine was, I think, unjoined the domain, okay. One of the things, a new trust was created to the domain. I think this relates to the machine first joining the domain and log in for the first time. So a new trust was created to the domain. Kerberos policy was changed. A Kerberos policy, or a Kerberos, it is a protocol specially working with authenticating the users to the domain, okay. Trusted domain information was changed. System security access was granted to an account. So this is one of the things. System security access was granted to an account. System security access was removed from an account. I think this is something related to the rights, but let's have a look on something like this event, for example. So this event, the grant login rights such as access this computer from network, login as service. This event documents the grant of login rights such as access this computer from network or login events. So if you give the computer, okay, the right to access the network, so for example, the user could be granted the option to access this computer from network, for example, or to have a user to log in as a service, okay. So these are recorded, this will be recorded. This is something related to login rights, okay. So for example, I can remove a user or remove this option from the user, so he cannot access with his user account this certain machine in the domain, okay. So this also can be monitored. So this is one of the things. Let's go further. For example, a trust forest information was added, a trust information entry was removed. So this is related to the authentication in a way, authentication to the domain, a trust to the domain, removing a right from a user. So all of these are related to the authentication. A trust to the domain was done, a trust to the domain was removed, okay. I think this is related to joining and unjoining a workstation to the domain, and all this is related to the authentication. Authentication, we mean here verifying that the user was have a correct username and password to access the domain or to access the machine, okay. So all of these are what is related to authentication policy change, okay. So let's continue and see. No, I think let me show you all something here. I need to have a look on one of these things. So for example, let's see this event. A new trust was created to the domain. Here is saying that this event is locked for new trust relationships connecting to the domain. While this description says trusted, this event applies to both trusted and trusting relationships, okay. The login and session of the user are exercise creating trust. SID, the account domain. So login as a unique ID number that identifies the login session. Login ID allows you to correlate. Okay, I think let's see here a description. So he is saying the fields trust information, trusted to the relay. I think this is related to anyway, so I think this is related to the trust to the domain. So this is it. Let's go back and continue working. So this is a very good thing to see or to monitor, to see the tasks or something related to this kind of events. Authentication policy change. So we will audit the success authentication. Okay, I think now also we will go and continue with the authorization. What are the authorizations? This is something related to changes in user rights, such as create a token object. So let's see here. The first one, it is changes or record changes to the authentication of a user or a computer. Okay, so for example, a computer was trusted, a computer was not trusted, a computer was changed or unjoined the domain. This here is related to changes in the user rights. Let's see also a description about this kind of events. So if you go and continue working, let's go and go to security events, authorization policy change. When user rights, that is privileges other than login rights, are assigned. So the login rights, I think these are the rights to log into a machine. So for example, he says that grant access or access this machine from network. This is a login right, okay, or login as a service. This is a login right. Other than that, there are other rights. For example, a user right was assigned. You can assign a user, for example, right to read or read a file or to delete a file. Let's see also this kind of event. So here this documents the change to user rights assignment on the computer, including the rights, the right and the user or group that received the new right. So for example, user rights privileges are synonymous terms used interchangeable. Rights, like most other security, are defined the group policy object and applied. Therefore, they will be event normally showing. Okay, I think here is some of the rights. For example, act as a part of the operating system. This is one of the rights. Add workstation to the domain. So here is classifying what are the rights, okay, that is granted. So for example, he will monitor if you give a user a right to act as a part of the operating system, or give the user a right to add workstation to the domain, okay, or something to adjust memory quota for process, or set backup privileges if you give him backup privileges. So this is a very good thing to monitor the changing in the user rights, okay, other than login, of course. So login rights are something like giving the user the right to access the computer from any part in the network, or to log in as a service, okay, and these are the rights. This is a very good way to know if there is any change in the rights of the user, okay. So for example, create a token. What I mean by create a token object, I don't know any actually, but this is very good way to know the changes in the rights of the user. So this is one of the things. A user was removed, assigned or removed the right. Encrypted data policy, encrypted data recovery policy was changed. What is this kind of rights? The computer security public key encryption file recovered agent was modified, either local. Unfortunately, the subject who actually changed the policy, because it isn't directly configured by administrators. He said it is editing group policy object. Anyway, this is something related to the encryption. So this is a very good thing. We can monitor something like this. So we will monitor the authorization policy change. So this is a very good thing to monitor the changes in the rights of the users. I think this can be done on the domain controller and on the local group policy of the machine, okay. So we can do this both, okay. So this will monitor the or audit audit users locally on the machine, and we need also to make a policy to audit users on the domain. So we can audit both local users and groups on machines and Active Directory users and groups on the domain. So this is something also we will edit authorization, change success, and then sensitive data privilege or sensitive privilege use. What are these events? It is related to use of sensitive privileges such as act a part of the operating system. So you can give the user a right to act as a part of the operating system. This is the highest privileges, okay, to act as operating system. So you give him full rights, or debug programs. So this is one of the very important rights that should be monitored if you give it to a user. Let's see also what are this discussed in our website. So we can go and see sensitive or privilege use. So here you can use the privilege audit to track and drag the exercise of user rights. Microsoft used the terms privilege, right, and permissions inconsistently. Privileges here refer to the most of the user rights that you find in the local security policy under security setting, local policy, user rights assignment. Okay, so he's talking about the most important user rights, something like login as a service, user rights, login as a batch job, login as a part of the operating system. So here is monitoring most of the important rights that are very sensitive. Okay, so we can give an Active Directory user account a right to act as a service account, or to act or to login as a service account, or to login as a batch account. So let's see here. Sensitive privilege use: act as a part of the operating system. This is one of the things. Sensitive privilege or sensitive rights to be monitored: act as a part of the operating system, backup files and directories, create a token object. So you will monitor the sensitive or the users that have the right to backup files and directories. Enable computer and user accounts to be trusted for delegation, one of the things also. Impersonate a client after authentication. So this is done in some situations. Modify firmware environment variables, restore files and directories. Okay, so this is one of the things. Backup and restore. Take ownership of files and objects. So all of these are related, or all of these are monitored. So we need to audit all of these sensitive rights given to users. Okay, and so for example here we have a lot of things. Non-sensitive, for example, this is on the opposite. Non-sensitive privilege use, like allow login locally. So he will not monitor login locally. This is not a sensitive privilege. Okay, deny login as batch, deny login as service. All of these are deny, so we don't need to deny or to monitor the deny of login as a service. Shutdown, force shutdown for a remote system. This is not sensitive privilege. Okay, so it will not be monitored. Okay, so here we can see that privilege use subcategory: sensitive privilege, non-sensitive privilege use, other privilege events. Anyway, so here he is monitoring a privilege service was called. Let's see here. So here, for example, this event, he will say to us that one of these events, for example, like login as a service or login as acting as a part of the operating system, is used. Okay, so for example, audit the use of backup and restore privileges. So this is one of the things. Backup, for example, if one of the sensitive privilege rights like backup is used, I think he will monitor it or will audit it. So let's see here what he wants. He wants to audit sensitive privilege uses. Okay, so let's open and see how we can monitor something like this. Okay, so let's go and open this option. So okay, sensitive audit sensitive privilege use. Okay, here we'll go to success. Okay, so privilege use, audit sensitive privilege use. Okay, here we will monitor this kind of events. The failure. So if one of the users that needs to back up a file, for example, and he didn't succeed in this, or we have failure to do this, this will be audited, because this is one of the sensitive rights that are given to a user. Okay, so it will be monitored. this is called the failure, and then we will have the success. So we will monitor both success and failure to this kind of sensitive privilege or sensitive rights. Okay, sensitive privilege rights. Okay, let's see this, or let's say it like this. And then system must configure IPsec driver failures. I think IPsec, we all know this is related to VPN or to securing virtual private networks, like I think. So here is monitoring all what is related to this kind of protocol. This protocol is used to initialize or to protect the VPN or the virtual private networks between branches or between something like this. So he is especially, or he monitors specifically the dropped packets of the IPsec, okay, driver. Let's have more about this kind of event. It's from audit system. So let's return back and see if there is something to discuss something like this. It's something related to audit system. So system events. Okay, so the system events, it's a mix of events that are relevant to security. For example, Windows log event 4608 when system startups. Okay, so for example, if a system is started up, one of the things into audit, so the IPsec is one of the things which is in the system or the audit system. Okay, so here audit system, it is obviously to monitor the system of the Windows itself. One of the things to monitor the system of the Windows itself is to monitor the VPN initialized by the system. Okay, so let's see the subcategories. IPsec, track of failure IP system or IPsec system. Let's see if we have something more this description about this kind of things. So here the IPsec, let's see, security setting, IPsec. So here IPsec tracks the related to the operation of the IPsec system service. If the IPsec system service failed to start or shut down, the security risk is increased. So it's a good idea to track these events. So he's saying if the IPsec protocol is not working, so that means that our VPN is in danger. Okay, because IPsec is it is related to securing our VPN. So we need to monitor this kind of protocol. Okay, so he is saying, for example, one of the events, IPsec service was started, IPsec service was shut down successfully, IPsec service failed to get the complete list of network interfaces on the computer. All of these are related to the IPsec. Okay, the start of the IPsec, the shutdown of IPsec. So events related to IPsec network traffic. Okay, anyway, so this is related to the IPsec protocol or IPsec system service. Okay, we can all Google and see what is IPsec. Let me see here, what is IPsec. So here if we can have a look about the description, what is IPsec? IPsec, let's see, here is saying what is IPsec. IPsec is a group of networking protocols used for setting up secured encrypted connections such as VPN across publicly shared networks. So this is very, very important. If this protocol is not running, so our data will not be encrypted in our VPNs or our virtual private networks, and this means a hacker can see the data clearly without any encryption. So this also should be monitored, okay, on your machine. So you need to see, or you have two things in the VPN, one part or two parties, or we have two computers in the VPN, one the receiver and the sender. Also we need to monitor the IPsec on both machines, from the sender and the receiver in the VPN. So this is one of the very important things we need to monitor. We will have the failures, okay, because we need to monitor the IPsec not working, not the IPsec working, okay, because this is normal. We need to monitor the failures in the IPsec not working. So let's continue. So we can do this IPsec and then we can continue. This is one of the things. Let's continue and see the other privileges. So all of these are very important things to monitor, okay. So we have this in the audit Ipsec driver in the system, okay, and then audit Ipsec driver, okay. And here you're saying here there is a description about this kind of things, okay. Ipsec services shut down and startup, dropped packets or integrity packets. Anyway, so this is description, you can see it, but I think the one in the website Ultimate Security Windows event I think is more clear than this one, okay. So let's continue. So you can see the description of the event itself. So anyway, we will continue working with these events. Let's continue. Failure. And then we'll continue working. Other system events. There is something called audit other system event success. What are these? Are information related to cryptic key operations and Windows Firewall service. So these are events that we will monitor related to the encryption keys, okay, and the Windows Firewall services, okay. So for example, shut down the firewall, open the firewall, edit something in the firewall. So this we need to monitor also if someone is trying to disable the firewall, or someone tried to stalling the key or modifying the encryption keys, okay. For example, if you encrypted your hard disk or encrypted your passwords, we need to monitor any change or any changes done to the encryption keys, encrypting our data or encrypting our usernames and passwords. Let's see also this described in here. So let's go and see what are the cryptic operations. So it's not security system events. Let's see here security other system events. So let's go here to the other system events, okay. Other system events are dominated by Windows Firewall system service activity. So this is basically monitoring the firewall of the Windows Firewall or Windows Defender Firewall, which would seem to belong elsewhere. All of subcategories you must use audit pool to enable or disable these services. So anyway, this is some of the events that are monitoring, or we will audit and monitor. Windows Firewall service was started successfully. Windows Firewall service was stopped. Windows Firewall was unable to retrieve a security policy. Firewall failed to initialize the driver. Service of the firewall failed to start. The Windows Firewall driver has started successfully. The Windows Firewall has been stopped. The Windows Firewall driver was detected anyway. So all of these are related to the Windows Firewall. So this is basic thing also to monitor the firewall changes. So let's open this, and the success of opening the firewall or changing the firewall. So these are the things, okay, to monitor. Here we're saying that there is the description to start and shut down the firewall services and driver, security policy processing by the firewall, cryptic key, and migration operations, okay. So just a moment guys, I need to see something. So let's continue guys. Here this is the policy and this is the description of the policy. So this is related to monitoring the firewall, okay. So here we'll monitor the success of the firewall. I think all of these are not monitored by default, so you need to enable it. So we will enable the failure of these events and the success of these events, okay. And then we will do another thing is to audit security state changes. What are the security state changes? Let's see here also the security status changes, okay. Let's see Ipsec. So let's see here security system settings, security state change. Events in security systems track key system changes such as system clock changes. So if there is any change in the system clock, it will be monitored, and the startup and the shutdown of the system. These events are important because a Windows system is completely vulnerable when shut down, at the mercy of anyone who has physical access and the proper skill. Every event uses the system time, so a change system time could obscure or hide miscellaneous actions or cause authentication problems. Okay, so here we can see some of the events. Windows is starting up, Windows is shutting down, the system was changes or system time was changed. So this is very critical to see when the system of the Windows started up, when it was shut down, if there is any changes in the system time. Okay, so this is very critical. Okay, so we will audit these success changes. Okay, success here, security state changes. So this is a very one to monitor also. So this is very important to monitor. Audit system change, security state change, startup, shut down the machine. I think all of these, enabling all of these audits and recording them in the event log will have our log size to be huge. So we need to control the audit, the event log size. Okay, the event log size files, and to back them up regularly. We will do this in a couple of seconds, so don't worry. Here, this is another thing to audit security system extensions success. What are system or security system extensions success? Let's also go here and see. First of all, he is saying here that events are related to extension code being loaded by the security subsystem. This is not very clear to understand, so let's go and see security system extensions. Okay, the Windows infrastructure supports extendably through various types of plugin, and the security system extensions subcategory logs all activity of such plugins. What are these plugins? Okay, security infrastructure is designed to meddler and to facilitate new plugin security functionality from Microsoft and third-party vendors. These plugins can be authentication package, trust login process, or notification packages. Because the plugins are completely trusted modules, Windows logs each plug. I don't know actually. Let's see one of the events. Authentication package has been loaded, a trusted login has been registered, a notification package, a service was installed in the system. So one of the things is to monitor if there is any program or any service was added to the Windows. Okay, so let's see also authentication package added, encapsulate a given authentication. Anyway, I think this is not, it's very a service installed on a system. This here, for example, when a service is installed on a system, so for example, if there is a program and this program needs to run using a service, or it will not run unless a service is running. So for example, we know if we have installed SQL, the SQL database will not run unless there is the SQL server service running in the Windows. Okay, so this service is installed when you install the SQL. Okay, so this is monitored. Okay, and there is an event type to generate something like this. So it is generated, and a new service are significant extensions of the software that runs on a server and roles and the roles that software performs. So this is a very good thing also, because the services control the software. Okay, this section who installed a new service. However, for services that are installed as a part of a native Windows components, so you will not monitor the systems or monitor the services installed by systems. So something like local system service system. Therefore, you cannot determine actually initiated the installation. Anyway, this is a very good thing also to monitor the installation of new services to the Windows operating system. Okay, and a lot of plugins. Okay, anyway, so all of these are related to the security. So any service related to the security, any software related to the security, any software related to authentication packages or trusted, so anything related to the security programs or software or services are monitored. Okay, so let's continue also working with this kind of monitor. We have success. Okay, and then we need to go and continue working with the events. We will monitor the success. Okay, and then we'll monitor the failure also. So here we can see there is some description about it. Service is installed and registered with service control. Okay, anyway, this is not very clear here. So he's saying that this kind of events are generated more on a domain controller than on a client computer or member service. So if we activate this kind of option on a local machine or on a workstation, we will not see a high volume of events or a high volume of creating of such events on a local machine or Windows 10 machine. This have a high volume on domain controllers. Okay, so anyway, we need to monitor such things on the local machines. For example, if a hacker installed the software or installed a service to hack the machine. Okay, so this is also very good thing to monitor. So let's continue. We have about 10 minutes, or we have only 10 minutes, and we are recording about 40 minutes of description, or 40 minutes of 40 minutes of is emphasizing or explaining. So here, let's see also, here we need to audit violations of integrity to security subsystem. So this is one of the things to audit or monitor the violations of integrity to the security subsystem. Let's see if this is explained more in this one. So let's see, it is security and security integrity. So here you see that events log 3 events that can affect the overall integrity of the system. Okay, integrity of the Windows system. One of the things is to code integrity determined that the hash of the file was not valid. A cryptic self-test was performed. Cryptic operation. So I think here this is all also related to encryption. Okay. Let's see, for example, here he means the overall integrity of the system. I think he means here something related to hacking the system maybe. So let's see what he means by code integrity, that the image hash. I haven't been able to produce this event, have you? If you start a discussion, let's see. So here it doesn't have anything related to this event. Let's see, for example, a cryptic self-test was done or performed. Also, he doesn't have any description about this event. A cryptic operation. So let's see here. Also, he doesn't have any description about this event. So event 5038 listed the path and the file name of the image in question. This could mean that the hash was corrupted either intentionally or a possible input-output error on the system. So I think this is related to an error in the system. Okay, something related to an error in the system, but I don't know actually what does this mean. So we need to have more searching about this kind of events. Okay, I think we can go and see the description of this event in the group policy. Let's go and see. We will give it from or the system integrity, and then we'll open explanation. So here we can see it's audit that violates the integrity of the security system, such as events could not be written to the event log because of a problem with the auditing system. So this is the thing, this is related to integrity of the system. Okay, a process that uses a local procedure call port that is not valid in an attempt to impersonate a client replying, reading, writing, or from a client address. Direction of the remote process protocol compromise the detection of a hash value of an executable file that is not valid by the code of integrity. Cryptic operation that compromise system integrity. Okay, anyway, some encryption operations that may compromise the system integrity, some events related to not able to write events to the event log because of a problem with the auditing system. So this is also related to problems writing the events in the event log because of a problem in the audit option or the auditing system. So this is some of the things related to the system integrity. Okay, so I think we can open it actually. I don't know, I didn't use this kind of option before, but this is good to know, or to work with this kind of events. Now we can continue. So this will be working with failure of these events and success, so success and failure of system integrity. And then we can go to the one of the most important things here. We need to configure an event log size for, we have three very important event viewer log categories. We have application log, system log, and security log. These are three categories that all of the events are recorded in. What are these events? What are they? What are recorded in them? How you can control the size of these logs? Okay, I will give you a video. I have discussed this in a previous video in one of my labs. I will show you all. If you go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and then let's go there, and if you go to the playlist, okay, and then if we go to the let's see here, if we go to the Marvel, let's go and continue. Okay, Marvel here. So if you go to the Marvel Studio Lab, the English one, okay, and then if you go to the something here, to this create backup. So first of all, the event log here, I am describing here, or I'm saying here, I am discussing how you can, or what are the important categories for the event logs, what every category in the event log records, how you can back up these logs. So it is very important to back up your event logs and to know the important categories in the event log and the important events in the event log. All of this I have discussed here in this video, so please return back to it to know more. As for now, we need to configure a group policy to control the size of the event log. Okay, so for example, if the event log of the application reached 32 megabyte, it should be one of three things. It should be deleted, it should be overwritten, or it should be backed up. So in most cases, I prefer to have an option to overwrite the file. Okay, so when it reaches a certain size, it will be overwritten. Okay, the old data will be overwritten with newer data. So before reaching the event log size to be 32 megabytes, you need to have a backup plan to back up the event log file. Okay, and then it can continue working. So you need to have a script to back up the event log before of the application, for example, before reaching 32 megabyte. I have discussed this in my video, the one that I have been showing you in a couple of seconds. Okay, so we will define a log size for every important category in the event logs: the application category or event log application category, security log application category, system log application category. So let's see how this will be done. We'll go and configure this from the from the group policy. We will configure a size. So maximum size log will be 32 megabyte. Okay, so we will go and configure this local policy, and then I think not security options, I think the audit policy, maybe no, not there, administrative templates. Then we will go to event logging. Okay, event logging, go to the events log service. Okay, and then we will go to the application. So we have just a moment, specify maximum size. Let me show you all. We have here the most important categories in the event log: the application category, the security, the setup, the system. Okay, I have discussed every one of these in the video that I have been showing you from a couple of seconds. Okay, so we go to the application. Okay, and then we will define. So here, for example, you can see that the maximum size of the log will be defined here. You can have a group policy to back up the log automatically when full. So when it reaches 32 megabytes, it will be backed up automatically. So this is one of the things, but I think this I didn't configured it before, but okay, we will see, or we can try it. And then control event log behavior when the log reaches its maximum. So here you can back up the log automatically when it reaches the maximum size, and then here you can tell the event viewer to deal how to deal with the event log when it reaches the maximum size. So it can delete the file, it can override the file, it can back up the file, it can create a new file. Okay, so all of this we can control it from here. Okay, so here we will specify the maximum size. Okay, we specify the maximum size. We need this for the application log. Actually, we need to concentrate more on giving a large file size for the event log of the security, because this is more. Okay, these more events are recorded in the security category, or the security events. Okay, so here we will copy this log. It will be, it's in kilobytes, so it's 32 megabyte after changing it from kilobyte to megabyte. Now we have configured the application log. Then we will configure the security log. Here we can see that he is saying that the security log should be 102 megabyte. Okay, so this is more than the application log, so because security logs are much more, so we cannot give them a small size. Okay, so we'll configure it to 102 megabytes. Okay, we'll configure the maximum size to be 102 megabyte. So let's go and continue. Okay, we'll go to security, and then we'll specify the maximum size to be 104 megabytes. The default is 20, so this is less, very less. So we'll continue, and then we'll go configure the system log. So actually also the system log, there's no much events recorded in the system log, but also we will give it the same size as the application log. The only difference is the security log, which is giving more space or more file size. Okay, so here we'll configure the maximum log size for the system to be 32. So we have configured all of these, and then we need to make sure that these events, so these events are recorded and saved locally on the machine. So we need to make sure that not everyone can access these logs and read them. So we need to see the rights on the application log files and the application log folders. So let's see if, for example, this is called application.evtx. This is the file, or this is the log file for the application. It is stored locally on your machine. You need to see the rights on this file. If it is granted access to certain users, you need also to grant access to these files only to administrators, not to normal users. Okay, so sorry guys, let's wait for a moment. So let's continue, guys. You need to make sure that no one can access these files or this event log. This is very critical. So only we need to make sure that only users that have access to these files or these event log files are the event log user, local event log user, system local user, administrators local users or local administrators, and they all have full control over the application.evtx. This is the log file of application. The one that can have full control over it and see it and edit it are these three users, local users on the machine: event log local user, event log local user, system local user, administrators local users. Okay, and we can check this file location in C Windows System 32 and then Win Event and then Logs. Okay, to see this file. This file resides in this location, so we will go to this location, see this file and see the properties of this file and see the users that are granted access to this file or the security for this file, and see security section of this file. Okay, so let's see. We'll do this for the application and the security and the system, the three important categories in the event viewer. So let's go and see and check this. So we'll go to System 32 and see. And here is saying to us, if you see a user called application package authority, all application packages have special permissions. This would not be a finding, so don't worry if you see this user that have access to this file. Okay, so let's see if this file has access. Let me show you all. If we go there, paused, and we go to, we will right click and run, and then put this in the run. Okay, so right click and run, and then put this location, and then let's see here. If you open it, here is the log file or the log folder. Here is all of the events are recorded here in this folder. So let's see properties here and see what are the users that are granted access to this, okay, to this folder. We have authenticated users, system, administrators, event log. Okay, so I think authenticated users, I think, have read, or actually they have only access to the folder, but not the what the folders inside. It can access the folder, but they cannot, or they have rights to the folder, but not the files in the folder. We will see now. This is the rights on the folder. The system, administrators, event log have full control. Authenticated users are only on the folder from outside, not for the files within the folder. We will see in a couple of seconds. If we go and check, let me see here, let me show you all. So if we go to the application.evtx and we go to the details or the security, here we can see that only system, administrators, and event logs, authenticated users, are not here. Okay, so we can see system and administrators and event log, they have full control. These three have full control, so we are good to go with the rights related to the application.evtx and the one related to the security. So if we go to advanced, you can see that we have allow, full control, full control, full control. So this is also exactly what the PDF says. If we go to the security, so this is one for the application. If we go to the security and system, okay, and setup, if you like, the same applies. Okay, so now good to go. No one have the right to see these logs except for these three users. Okay, so this is one of the things to make sure. So we have all of this done for the three important security, three important event log categories. Okay, now we need to return back to our audit policy to audit other policy changes. Okay, audit other policy changes events. So let's see what is this. Audit other policy changes event contains events such as data recovery, changes in Windows filtering platform, group policy, central access policy changes, detailed troubleshooting events. Let's see audit other policy changes, what this mean. Audit other policy changes, let's see here, policy change, let's see here and see the categories. Other, I think other policy changes. Okay, this is the one. Let's see what he's saying about this event, other policy changes event. So if we go further, other policy changes event, he said should have been in the Windows filtering platform section. Okay, so I think this is the one up. Okay, the one above it, filtering platform policy change. This is the one. He will log these events. What this means, whenever it starts, as well as any change to its configuration. Windows filter platform, what is Windows? So it will monitor Windows filtering platform. What is Windows filtering platform? It is used by Windows Firewall and other software and can filter and modify TCP packets, monitor and authorize connections, filter internet protocol security, and filter remote procedures. So these are related to the rules on the firewall. Okay, so for example here we can see that he's saying that one of the things, okay, let's see, a Windows filtering platform callout was changes. Let's see this event. If you go there, is callout driver used for specialized filtering. Callouts can block, permit, or modify and secure network. So one of the rules on the firewall. So these are rules on firewall to filter your network traffic. Okay, so here you will log this kind of events. So I think this is also important to monitor the changing in the rules on the firewall. I think this is one of the things. So this is what it means, and we will see also the description if we go to the group policy and see the description of this policy, so we can know more. Here is saying that these events that is done by the Windows filtering platform concerns data recovery, agent policy changes in Windows filtering platform. Anyway, so relating to cryptic operations, data recovery operations. Anyway, so we monitor the success on this events. Let's see the description of this kind of events on the in the group policy. So we will go and open security, and then we will open again the advanced audit configuration policy, and then audit policies, and then policy change, and then we will say audit other policy changes. Let's see the explanation of about this event. We will audit the success and failures. The same, the two, success and failure. So let's see the explanation. I think here maybe we can see the explanation after that. Then I think I have discussed it, or we don't have an explanation, or we can go and see the explanation from here. Let's go and see the old policy change and other policy change, and then explain. So allow you to audit generated by security policy changes, trusted platform configuration changes, TPM, kernel cryptic self-test. These are all related to the changes in the security. I think other policy changes, events, I think this is the one, filtering platform changes. Okay, Ipsec. Anyway, so it's already clear. Let's wait for a moment. Okay, so then we need to log in, or to audit, log in and log off events successfully. What we mean by this: determines whether Windows generate audit events for other login and log off events. Login events are essentially to understand user activity and detecting potential attacks. So we know all the login and log off. Okay, what are the other login and log off events? So the normal login is for a user to login, and the log off is for user to log off. Is there any other activities other than this for the login and the log off process? We will see. So let's see what he means by this. So if we tell him login other events, or other login and log off events, let's see the description in the event here. So let's go to the website and login and log off. Okay, and then we need to go to the categories, screensaver. So here is saying, for example, that other login and log off events, we will monitor the screensaver. So the login or the remote desktop, so you can log in using the remote desktop. This will be monitored, so you can log in locally or log off locally, or you can log in and log off using the remote desktop. So let's see more description about this events. Let's see here. Other login and log off events contains events that are associated with the screensaver. Okay, console locking. So if you are on a server, and for example on a machine, and you have a console, so you look at remote desktop connections. If your organization has a lockout policy, and it should, these events can enable an auditor to see whether interactive and remote terminal server sessions are actually being locked out when unattended. So here he's saying that if you are logging remotely on a server, from a workstation, you should monitor this kind of events, and the auditor should see this kind of events. So this is very good also to monitor. So this is what we mean by other audit or other login and log off events. Okay, we will see also the description of this kind of events on the group policy. Okay, so we can go and see. So everything is described in this website or Ultimate Security Windows logs and on the group policy. If we go and tell him login and log off and other login events, if you go to explain, so here we can see that one of the events is to terminal service sessions disconnect. So if you want to connect to a server remotely through terminal services, new terminal service session lock and unlock a workstation. So this is one of the very good things, to lock and unlock a workstations. You have a policy, for example, to unlock the machine after 15 minutes. This is recorded and the auditor should see and view this log. Invoking a screensaver, this is very good because you need to have a policy to enforce a screensaver when the user leave the workstation unattended for 15 minutes, and to lock, not only to have a screensaver but to lock the machine, and dismissal of a screensaver, invoking a screensaver or start and end of a screensaver, detection of a careless replay attack, I don't know what this, access to wireless network granted to a user. So if you access a wireless network, it also will be recorded. So these are all other login and log off events. Access to wired network, if you for example access a wired or a cable network, this is I think related to the domain. So all of these are very important events to log. So anyway, we will do this. So this is a very good thing. This is more descriptive or more explanatory. So we can see that this is very good also to monitor. The auditor will log this kind of events, or will audit this kind of events anyway. So we will continue working with this one. This is success events. I think we will do also this for the failure events. Okay, so we'll do this for success. Okay, and we will do this for we will not do it for the failure, do it for the success only. And as for the file shares, we have done this before already. I think this is detailed, so take care guys. We have done an audit for file shares but not for detailed file share. Okay, what is the difference between audit file share and audit detailed file share? He's saying here he will audit access to files and folders shared locally on the machine. The detailed file share setting logs an event every time a file or folder is accessed, every time a folder or file is accessed. Whereas the file sharing setting, so you will audit, there is two options, to audit file share and to audit detailed file share. What is the difference? Normal file share records only one event for any connection established between a client and the file share. Detailed audit events including detailed information about the permission or other criteria used to grant or deny access. So he will not only monitor the access to the folder but the rights to this to access this shared folder. So this is more detailed. Okay, so we need to see this kind of setting or to enable this kind of audit. Let's see also what the websites gives us or say to us. So I think this related to object access, and then or detailed tracking. I think let's see. I think it's related to not here file share. I think not here detailed file share. Let's see where this resides. It resides in I think detailed tracking. So let's see, it's not in this category, so it's in the category of detailed tracking. If we go there and if we go to not this, so we'll go to object access, and then I think we'll go to, there is something called detailed file tracking, but I think it's not here, it's not appearing here. Anyway, we'll see where this option is. So we'll go and see this option. If we go and continue more, okay, so where is this option? It is here it goes, not file share, not this one, this is the old one. We have something called detailed file share. So where is the detailed file share? If you go there, okay, let's see here. Here is the detailed file share. Okay, it's not listed, but here it goes. And take care, if you audit the file share, this will, if you did it on a domain controller, he will audit every access to the system vol folder, which is huge. So take care when you are enabling this option on a domain controller, because he will monitor every access to the this vol folder, which are huge. There will be a huge volume of files, a huge volume of event log files. Okay, so this is it. We will explain. Here is saying that it's saying the same that I have read from the website. Okay, it is high. He's saying that the volume is high on a file server or a domain controller because of sysvol network access. Okay, so we need to only audit failures on the folders, not the success, because this will make the volume of the files huge. Okay, let's stop at this event. It's 21 minutes and 12, so it's 21 minutes and 12. Okay, let's stop at here at the minute 21:12, and we will continue on part 5. Okay, so I think we will have another part, so we'll stop at minute 21:12 at the option of must configure audit MPSSVC rule level policy change success. So we'll stop here and we'll continue at part 5 of the video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and I'd like to thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.